All right, so you might notice that mine looks a little bit different on this video, and that's because basically I lost all the stuff. So actually, before we move on, I want to kind of cover something that would be beneficial for you to know, and that is this. I did save it; everything was fine, but um, uh, generally speaking, we're making a 2D image, right? So that doesn't exist inside of Blender. It's being attached. I'm not sure where it's creating the file necessarily, some sort of temporary file. But for some reason, even with saving it, my normal map was saving every time, but the color map just kept disappearing. I'm not really sure why that is. But one thing you can do inside of Blender, which is really nice because I don't believe any of the other 3D apps I use do this, but you can actually go to this, and you should do this. Go to File, External Data, and do Automatically Pack Resources. You can see it said packed 4 files. So basically what that'll do is that any images or other media that is in there, it will actually save as part of the file. It does increase the overall file size in general, but it also means that it's saving it all, and you don't have to worry about things disappearing. And also, when you go to, let's say, give this to me or transfer it, you know everything's with it. You don't have to worry necessarily. All right. That being said, you'll notice that we've kind of completed what I consider like the primary colors. So basically the main colors of the character. The next thing I like to do is sort of what I would call the secondary colors. So basically like detail color things. So for example, I already did it here, but like, the shoelaces. Another thing that I would like to do is like, I want to paint this strip a different color. I was originally thinking green, but it'd be kind of weird to have green on green here. So let's say we just do white. So I'm just going to go up here. We'll go to white and we'll just go like that. And I'm gonna hit Alt Q to select that one. I'm gonna make sure I am on Paint Hard. We'll do F to make it smaller, like so. One thing you might find that's a little bit, well, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, that you might find that can be helpful is to use the steady stroke. So let's make that a little bit bigger. Actually, I'll just do it here. So if you scroll down to the stroke section, you can turn on stabilized stroke. Sorry, they call it stabilized stroke in this program. And what that'll do is it will basically, I don't know if you can see, it like drags a line behind and it kind of softens your trajectory. Oh, that's cool. I like how it did that. And so I guess we'll just undo that. All right, let's do that again. It's more fun the second time. Um, so that can be helpful to make sure that you know, don't have that issue. Okay. So I think because I think I'm inside of the hand and that's why it's doing that. So I'm just gonna get a little closer and pray to the Blender gods that doesn't keep happening. So you might find steady stroke is useful for certain things, and it didn't really care. It did it anyway. So um, I'm gonna head do Shift X here. I'm gonna turn stabilize stroke back off, and I'll just paint this manually back. That's fine. Okay. Um, so yeah, I would just go through and basically paint the let's do Shift X. Paint basically the detailed stuff, right? So some of it should be relatively straightforward, such as like this area, right? You're just kind of painting it the color. But for other things, let's say I want to have my character, I want to have a C on his chest, okay? Photo P, I made this here. I just made because I just wanted to have it look like the collegiate, like varsity font or whatever. I don't know what it's called. But basically I just did that. I saved it as a PNG. Okay. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring that in here and then we can use that. So let's go ahead and go to the texture file here. We'll just do a new texture. I'm just gonna do it this way first. We'll open and then I'm just gonna find that image. I actually did a black and a white one. So let's just use the black one for now. Should I think work. Okay, so we're gonna do the black one. I'm gonna go back to my settings and I want to show you something. You'll see that there's texture and then texture mask. What I want you to do is let's go to texture. It's already on texture. Okay. And let's see. Okay, yeah, it's paint black. So I want to do this as a stencil. Okay, so I'm just gonna right click like this and then shift right click. One thing I do want to show you is that if you go over here, you can also do it this way. So sometimes this is easier. So I could go like that and then brush this on. And then there you go. You can see it there, right? So you can actually use the stencil in there as well. And there's reasons why that actually might make more sense. Even for this, it kind of maybe makes more sense. But I'm going to do it over here just to highlight a couple of things. So I'm going to go like this. One thing you're going to notice if I go to paint this, see how it looks like, I don't know, the Green Lantern symbol or something? Basically, I have symmetry on, right? Which we want all the time. But in this case, this item it should not have it. So I got to turn symmetry off. Then I'm just going to shift right click to make this bigger. And then remember, it's control right click to rotate. But I want this to be straight, so we're going to leave it like that. Okay, so I want it to be my green color. So I'm going to hit Shift X over here to sample. So I have green color, and it's black. Why is it black? So the reason why it's black is because when you do texture, it paints the literal texture color. Okay, so for example, I'm going to show you. I'm going to click on, oh, let's add another texture. Okay, so let's say I wanted to have a tattoo or something. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to make another one. So just duplicate this. I don't really care. And then, hang on, where's the file folder, single image, use file from current directory, right? File to current directory. Oh, that's like the saving of, okay, never mind. I don't really want to do it that way. We're going to instead make a new one. How do I do that? Where are you? To click this to unlink that one, then hit open. And I'm just going to grab another picture. So like I said, let's say I wanted to have like a tattoo. So I want to have a tattoo of my cone graphic. Okay, so I have this image in there. Now what you'll notice is if we go and we have the texture here, again, I can go like this and let's, I'm going to make it a, it's going to be a face tattoo. Okay, so I'll shift right click. And when I paint on there, come on. Oh, got to Alt Q it first. When I go to paint on there, you'll see what it's going to do is it will paint it. Now, notice that it's kind of dark, and that's because when you go to paint, you want to make sure you have it on white. I'll do that again. It's like a teardrop tattoo. That way it should be a little bit closer mix. Why am I getting it kind of green here? It might be tinting it, so I didn't see that that was actually a green tint. All right, there we go. So yeah, if you do a color, it'll also tint it, but it's going to do the literal color. So for example, if I do my black C, it really doesn't matter what color I choose because it's just going to be black. There's no colors in it to shift. So that is what texture does. I wanted to make a green C here. So I actually don't want to use texture. I'm just going to click X out of that. Instead, I want to use texture mask. And I'm going to click on this and I'm going to go to my texture mask, okay, or my texture I made. I'm again going to choose stencil and you're going to see it's over here. It's kind of hard to see, so it actually makes sense to use the white one instead. So for example, I'm just going to go to the second one here and I'll hit open and I'm going to go to downloads. So when you go to make these, don't make them black, make them white. It'll be easier to see. So if I click on this and there we go. I choose the white one. See, I can see it now. So don't make them black if you do it that way. Make it white. I don't know why it's like this, but you actually have to hold Alt and right click as opposed to Shift and right click. My guess is maybe because you could have both of them together. So in order to control one but not the other, that's how you have to do it. But that's kind of dumb. So anyways, I'm gonna do Shift and right click, Alt and right click to drag. I'm gonna do Shift Alt and right click to size, and then obviously Alt and Control and right click to rotate. Now what I can do is I'm once again gonna sample this. I'll hit Shift X. I'm gonna hit Alt Q to make sure I have this. And now when I go to paint this, it will do nothing. Hang on, stencil. Let me see. That's odd. Let me see. Mix, blah, blah, blah. Um, oh, no, that's right. I need to stay that way. Uh, Wait a minute. Oh, because I still have the stencil up there. Okay, so see, this is why. So if I right click, it does the stencil, or the texture. I thought I got rid of that. Exit out of that. There we go. Okay, that, yeah, for some reason that got I thought I clicked that off. Still has symmetry on. Let's turn symmetry. Oh, because it's per object. All right, let's just rotate this a little bit. Okay. And now when I go to paint it, you'll see it will paint that color. Okay. Um, yeah, when this was on, it's only going to paint where the two overlap. And since they weren't overlapping, that was what's going to happen. I'm going to put symmetry back on. But you can now see that I have that. I'm just going to go ahead and click X on that to get rid of that. I don't need that anymore either. But that is the difference between the two. So if you're looking to paint an actual color, like let's say your character has a graphic tee and you find a graphic that you want to put on the t-shirt, you want to use texture. If, let's say, you have I don't know, like a scratchy fabric image you want to just brush on, you're going to want to use texture mask. Okay, so texture mask is where you disregard the color of the image that you're painting, and texture is where you want to keep the color of what you are painting. That's really the difference between the two. Okay. All right. So yeah. So we have now done that. I would paint, more stuff in here. But I'm just gonna call this video good, and then we'll just do a little bit more basically on the next one.